Let me show you how you can compute these number of chairs in a tabular format or maybe as a schedule. See, this is the schedule which I have written. You can see each my inserted unit. Say for example, this is supposed to be my inserted object which carries 8 chairs in a single row and such 5 rows are there. So you can check out over here, it is written as number of seats in a one row 8, number of rows 5, total seats 40. Now remember, ArchiCAD doesn't provide you by default this total seats. So I'm just going to show you how you can add this feature in your existing library part. Okay, so for that, very quickly, you just will just shift to this. I'll just take you for a this drawing. Now here, what I'm going to do, if you check out, this is my audience setting, is the object which I have selected, and by default it is having seat layout, number of rows and number of seats in one row. So 3 and 5 is there. See, let's continue for this itself as it is. Now there are two possibilities. You have either staggered rows or even rows. So for a while, I'll go for an even option and these calculations will be successful. If you want to go for a staggered rows, you have to little bit write this equation in a different format. But that you can explore later. Just try to go for the even rows and make it as a simple one and let's see how it works. So if I insert this over here, now you know it very well. There are supposed to be total 5 chairs and 3 rows. So obviously total 15 numbers. So how you want to list out them? You can definitely go inside the schedules and the elements and you can start with a new schedule and you can give some name for that ID I've given and setting calculations. Okay. Here, the element type will be obviously going for an object, and in that you can add the criteria that, sorry, you can just add the criteria as library part and its name. Library part name contains, you can have this option as a audience setting. Okay. And then you can add the listing, what you can see fields like element ID. After that, you can make sure that you can see library part parameters in which you just have to scroll and get your folder in which this library part was placed. So furniture layouts, object and basic library, furnishing this audience setting in which you can see number of scroll down and there is an option M is supposed to be a number of seats in one row and there is a N parameter number of rows. Then you just say OK for this and you again say OK for this. You can just double click. You will see that this is how your listing is actually done. Okay, so this is what is by default. Obviously, if I copy this and just maybe repeat this after a 4-meter distance, and maybe I have changed this instead of number of seats in one row as a 5, I have taken them as 10. I'll see OK, but if you want to change the element ID, you can change it also. That's your choice. And you can check out over here, this is what is added. But the total number of persons are not getting added. it will just getting listed by default number of rows and number of seats. Okay, so to do that, you can just select either of the element, and you can go inside the pull down menu file. There is a library object, and you can use the open object. Either you can, or otherwise you can use this Control Shift O. Once you open this, now what two things are there? A very simple thing, you have to add one new parameter, which probably I'll say a new, and I'll say name of this number of or what you can say, number of seats, total seats I will say. So total underscore seats. Now remember, this is mandatory to follow the rules about how you can try to give the variable name and then its name, which will be flashed or displayed in front of you. So total seats. Okay, you can just scroll and copy this, Control C, that is on the clipboard, and you have to now go in the parameter script and parameters. The first option was just to design that parameters, and now in the script the parameter, and here in the first row itself you can directly write as a parameter okay. Uh, Parameters, and you can give this Control V, that is best. Total seats was my parameter's name. I'll say equal to, and then you just have to put this bracket in which you can put M into N. Now what is M and N? If you go inside the parameters and you can check out, N is the number of rows, M is supposed to be number of seats. Now what is one thing was missing? My total seats is not a length. It is nothing but either real number or integer. So I'll change this to the integer, and if you want you can just take this, scroll this down and take it to the last one in the list. Okay, so by default it was calculated total seats as a 15, right? Because that was supposed to be by default M and N, the current values are supposed to be, fine. And that's it. At the base level you are doing this is a successful equation when you don't have the scattered seating option. I'm saying it is just valid for, if you want to add that note, you can add that note also, that use this only for when you have a normal seating order. Fine. So now it's time to say file, save as, because you cannot override these library part because it's a locked one, and you can just go inside the embedded one. So in your current one it will be written, and you can just give some unique name. I'll just add my name over here. I'll say save. Fine. Back to this. I'll just again select these two. I'll just go back, and here if you check out in the embedded, this new entire existing library object was copied and new what you can save with the new name. So you can use Alt and Control together and say pick parameters. So obviously now the parameters are picked, and of course both are going to be the same because of the what do you say, Control Shift what you can see. That is inject parameters, pick parameters and inject parameters you have done. So if I want, I can just keep this slightly away. Okay, and now what you have to do, if you go back to your listing, you will not able to see the change. The reason, this is not updated for the newly defined library object. So I have to go and change this option as a matching this library part name contains so and so. I'll say OK for this. Fine. Now how to add the remaining field? Obviously, you'll go back to the settings. Here, you will go and say add fields in the library part name. You can just obviously just scroll down and get your that particular library part which was there inside the furniture layout, object library, basic library, furnishing layout, and you have to go inside your embedded option. I'm very sorry for that. You just have to go and check out the embedded furniture one. So embedded library, in that audience seat was there. And here if you just scroll and check out, your total seats, this option is listed. Say OK for this, select this, get the sum of this, say OK. That's it. You can anytime you can change this. See, maybe you have 8 and this will be 12. You can see now the changes are done automatically, and or you can have number of rows as a 5, and the things will get changed. So you just go and see this is how, and if you go back to your calculations, this is what is updated one. Okay, fine. So this is how one can do simple calculations and all these things. Try some, put your efforts and check out if you go for staggered count how it works. Because obviously if I go for the straight layout type as a straight, this is fine. Oh sorry, not straight I will say. This is even rows, and if you go for staggered rows, you will come down to know now there will be some change, but then what exactly and how this equation can be get solved, one can definitely solve this also. Only thing you just have to play a little bit with the logic, and you will get the number of seats for that also. So just try it out and let me know. Till then, definitely enjoy this simple but effective, what you can see, way to add the new parameter in the library part and make your work a bit easier and faster.